All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Nice looking Friday. You know, one of the problems with modern technology is we take a nice day like today, and we find ourselves looking at little screens rather than going outside and looking at this beautiful landscape that God has painted for us, right?
Yeah.
But we love our little screens, right? The other night, I downloaded for the first time. Now, I've seen, like, the YouTube version of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's not a new show, but it's new to me. It's the Larry David Show. And Alex, my son, was talking about it forever, and I finally discovered some clips on YouTube. So I've kind of liked the show, but I've never really seen a whole show till the other night. I downloaded the whole show, looked at it on my computer screen, and I said, wow, this is like pristine clear. I guess I've got a good... So I didn't realize I had such a good screen on my computer. And, of course, you walk into Best Buy or any of those big box stores and you see these huge TVs, you go, wow, that's unbelievable. And then they're so thin. And that is nothing new to our guest, Jim George. Actually, he's the host of this show. This is his show. And he's here today to answer questions about that kind of technology. Jim George is the owner of American Cable Services right here in Ocala, and he's the guy who makes sure that you and I see what I just was describing, those crystal clear pictures and that wonderful entertainment that comes piping into our homes, whether it's visual or audio or both. And the audio is amazing, too, obviously. Jim, good morning. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
What'd you do? Did you go to North Carolina last week?
I did. I went to Boone, North Carolina.
I love Boone.
We own a cable TV system in Boone.
You do?
But we were there to put some wireless access points in several hotels for an owner who owns 8 of the hotels in Boone.
Really?
So people can walk around and have wireless access both in the hotel and downtown area.
There's a Boone-Ocala connection, isn't there?
There seems to be.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened, but I discovered it myself. So anyway, so they're using your expert. So did you enjoy your stay while you were there? Did you get to stay in the hotel?
I stayed in the hotel, but it's basically work. From the time you get up to the time you go to bed, you're working because it's a 12-hour drive for us to go to Boone.
Yeah.
So it's you get to Charlotte fairly easy. After that, you're up and down, left and right.
Yeah.
And then you get to Boone.
So what I was just describing is not really that new, is it? I mean, first of all, the show I was watching isn't really that new. It was like 3 or 4 years old, I think. But the technology to bring that crystal clear picture to the screen is always evolving. But from my eyes, I mean, I grew up in the Andy Griffith era, right? So to my eyes, anything better than that looks pretty good.
Right. Well, we all grew up in the analog age where the television picture was there, and if it got not as good, it would get a little snowy or a little grainy,
right,
or a little less clear, but not because it was an analog picture and it was just always there. In the digital age, what happened is it's either there or it's not there. And when it starts to not be there, it starts to pixelate, little small pixels, which you've seen on your screen if you have a digital antenna or a digital TV. And then it goes away. So they've gone from multiple lines of resolutions. In other words, your picture has so many more lines right now to form the picture that's where you get your 1080i and your 1080p from. One's progressive, one's interlace. Basically what it means, there's 1,080 lines across your screen to create that picture, whereas an analog picture is 525 lines. So you can see we've doubled the number of lines, which if you have an old analog TV, that is a cathode ray tube, one of the big heavy ones, take your fingers and touch your thumbs and your index finger and put it over the screen, and if you look just there, you'll see all the lines.
Yeah, right.
But if you go up to a digital one and do the same thing, it's just all you see is a picture, because it's interlacing one line next to the other so tightly that the picture looks seamless.
Yeah.
And then now they're coming out with 4,000 lines of resolution. So 1080i and 1080p are no longer the state of the art. It's now 4,000 lines.
Is our picture only as clear as the TV station that's sending it, though? I've heard that.
Well, that's correct. Yeah, if it goes out in 1080, it could be received in 1080. But if it goes out in 528 or 525, you're receiving an analog picture.
I gotcha. Okay.
Now, will a person need to have a box hooked up to their television on your cable system to get that pristine crispness of the signal?
Yes. We, like for instance in Ocala Palms, we're working there, and we offer, I think it's 96 channels there. And the people who have a high-definition TV will look at our picture and say, wow, it's very clear. I say, well, just wait till we offer the high definition package. When we do, that will look inferior.
Wow.
That's just how more crystal clear a high definition is.
Wow.
And then that would require a box. And the reason is because we have to be able to control the signal from our end.
Oh.
How many channels you want, what you're willing to pay for, and those type of things.
And we do have a phone call. By the way, I should have mentioned the phone call opportunity. Everybody is invited to call Jim during this show. The number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning, Mr. George. Study calling. I am electronically challenged, and I have had the thing set up before, but the one TV set went out, and I got a new TV set, and believe it or not, it was all covered under warranty. Now, my problem being I have 3 different brands of equipment here. And one is the cable company's box, and then another is another DVD, and believe it or not, it's a combination DVD VHS player because I have a lot of video tapes. My problem being is I have HDMI capability on all this equipment, but I'm trying to get the DVD player to play again on this new TV set. Now there's, I think, 2 or 3 HDMI ports, and one is being occupied by the cable box, and I am trying to maybe use the HDMI cord to go to my DVD player and to the TV set. Now the question there is, when I go to try to turn it on, I can't seem to get anywhere with that. Now, is that in the controller of the TV, or the controller of the cable box, or the controller of the DVD player?
Yes, Sonny, if you have the HDMI cable coming out of your DVR-type recorder, whether it be a VHS recorder or whatever, and that goes into the TV itself,
yes,
all you have to do is go to the menu screen on your TV, and it will give you all the inputs. And it will say HDMI input 1, HDMI input 2. It will say, and all you have to do is hit the different inputs. And then when you're playing your VHS tape, it will come through on that input. When you're done, then you go back to the menu screen and go back to the HDMI 1, which would be out of the Cox or Comcast box.
Right. Would that would this be the use of the Cox controller or remote, or because everything involves a remote now. There's no dials or selector switches on this stuff anymore.
Sure. It depends how it was hooked up originally, but if you have a standalone VHS player recorder, and if it has HDMI out, that HDMI cable will just go straight to the input of the TV.
Right.
And then when you go to your TV screen and hit menu and then go input and then come down to the different inputs you have, just select that input, and whatever you're playing on the VHS will come through the screen.
Ah.
Well, somebody tells me I can do all of this using one remote, basically the Cox remote. And that's, I'm playing with 3 remotes, in other words, and it's getting kind of crazy. So far, I haven't been able to get a picture. But like I said, I'm electronically challenged.
Right. Well, a lot of the geek squads that you see around town, I mean, you have a bunch of them. You have the original, which would be like the Best Buy guys. But a lot of the stores have the in-house technicians, like Staples and such, and they will send a technician out because they're more inclined for the home consumer equipment, and they know exactly how to hook all that up.
All right. Well, that's my last resort, because I don't know.
Yeah, you'll be so much happier though once they get you set up.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
What I'm trying to say is I had it all set up, and I did it myself with the first set, and now this new set, which is a high definition set and has terrific picture, etc. I just can't seem to get the combo to work anymore, and I thought maybe it had to do a lot with either the various remotes. It's unbelievable how many remotes you get with all this
That's
stuff.
true. You can buy a universal remote control that will do everything, including turn the lights on in your house. But they are very expensive. They're up in the $300 to $400 range, but they will do everything.
Wow. Wow. I think the $304 range is out of my electronic expertise.
Yes. Just stick with 2 or 3 remotes.
All right.
Yeah,
All
really.
right. Well, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Very interesting program, and it's very enlightening also. It seems to me it gets a little more scarier as you go along, the more technical this stuff gets. Have a good weekend, sir.
Thank you.
You know what? One of the issues you just reminded me of in your answer to Sonny about finding the menu on the TV. When my mom was alive, she would unplug the TV in her kitchen when there was a storm. And every time I'd come over after a storm, she would say, I don't know what's happening. I can't get above Channel 13 anymore again. And then I'd do the auto program, and it would all come back. But,
Yes.
But sometimes, like the way Sonny was describing himself is kind of the way my mom was. It was like that was just, she didn't even want to deal with it. Yeah, she probably could have got it if I had sat and explained it to him. But
Right. Now, there's a lot of different... All the newer TV sets are more and more complicated. Everything's more complicated.
Yeah.
It's like the flashing light on your VHS recorder or whatever. It's very difficult to set the time of day, and then just as you get it set, the power glitches a minute and it goes back.
Yeah, right.
I know I walked in my house yesterday and all my clocks were flashing, so I had to go around and set them. The power may have only been off for a minute.
Yeah,
There you go.
Well, see, we could fix that. They should put batteries in those things or something, right?
Yeah.
Some do. Some have batteries.
And your suggestion to go to the people that are the experts, like yourself, is the best suggestion ever, because then that way you're not frazzled, and so you have to pay a few dollars, but at least in the end you get what you want and everybody's happy.
Yeah, we're basically the cable TV type guys. I mean, we're the ones that when we go into your home, we're forced to hook it up for you because you have bought a TV set that's new, you do have a DVR, you do have all these things, and you want us to hook them up. But the guys who do it every day for a living at the Staples stores, the Best Buy, they've seen every model, every make. They know they have all the miscellaneous jumper cables. The other day we had a situation where we needed an audio cable. Well, you think of an audio cable as either a little banana plug on each end or an RCA jack on each end.
Right.
It was a fiber optic audio cable. I said, where in the world would I get that? And the guy says, Radio Shack. I said, you got to be kidding me. Where have I been all these years? We have a fiber optic audio jack? Do you see what I'm saying? If you do it every day,
Didn't know either.
It's a no-brainer for you.
Wow, and we work in audio. See, we're not exactly keeping up with the Joneses either, are we?
Right. Like I'm leaving Sunday night for Washington, D.C. I'm going to the National Cable Television Association. And at that meeting, which is 3 days, it's not for equipment. The equipment show is in October in Atlanta. That's the Society for Cable Television Engineers. That's where Cox will be and Comcast will be. This show is all the programmers. So you and I are used to the usual suspects: USA, FX.
Right.
You know,
right.
But there are thousands of channels on this.
Wow! And they're trying to get you to carry their
Exactly.
So
we go there and we, for instance, there's one, I think I may have mentioned this last time I was on, there's one channel called Dog TV. And so we thought, gee, we already carry Animal Planet, and we already carry Pet TV. Maybe we should carry Dog TV. So we're talking to the owner, and it's a she, and she's out of Israel. So we're calling back and forth to Israel. And she says, well, you may have misunderstood our channel. Dog TV, it's for your dog. And I said, you got to be kidding me. She says, no. And I said, well, how much is it? She said, $6. I said, you want me to resell a channel for $6 that your dog sits in front of the TV and watches? That's impossible.
Oh, wow.
There's nobody I know that's going to pay $6 for their dog to watch TV.
Oh. My dog wouldn't watch it. That's the problem. I've tried.
They get bored.
I got
a video.
I got a DVD once. Was it? I got it for Robin's daughter for Christmas, and it was like $1. It was so cheap, so I got one myself. Don't tell her I only spent $1 on it.
Yeah, I won't.
But I got one for me too. And I said to the dog, "Come here, look at the tape." She didn't care.
Yeah. Right.
I said, "Look at the squirrels. They run." Oh, she didn't care.
Right. I mean, what is it? Cats jumping over fences so the dog can sleep? I mean, what?
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I want to ask you? And I don't know if it has nothing to do with cable, because it has to do with airwaves, okay? But we were talking about camping this morning. I used to bring a camping TV into the tent.
Right.
That TV became obsolete when the VHS signal was no longer being
the
used.
analog signal went away, right?
Yeah. So do they have a camping TV now?
They do. It's a little digital antenna now. Everything's digital.
Oh, okay. So I got to buy a new one.
Where you used to have a channel 2, you now have 2, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. Channel 6 is 6, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. And those 2s and 6s are not on channel 2. They're really on UHF repeaters like channel 39.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when we put up our antenna to receive channel 2, we're aiming it towards the channel 2 transmitter out of Orlando.
Right.
But we're really it's really a UHF channel like channel 19 or channel 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the FCC has forced broadcasters off of the analog tier, that's channels 2 through 13,
right,
and said we want to regroup that space. That's the VHF, very high frequency.
Right.
We want that. We want you to move to the UHF, the ultra high frequency.
So could I pick up those channels on my UHF receiver?
Easy, very easy.
Oh, my.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I'm going to try. All right, let's get back to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning. George is Sunny again. You're talking about the dog TV and the animals, and I can tell you for sure that I had 2 dogs. One was a Schnauzer and the other a Dachshund, and they loved to watch the TV programs with other dogs. Now, if it was the nature program or Animal Planet, and they showed lions or something, believe it or not, those 2 dogs lost interest in watching TV. Have a relative who bought the CD to keep the animals quiet while she was out, left the TV on, and would just replay over and over again. And those 2 dogs that I had just sat there and watched the TV. But if it kept repeating too often, they get bored and go away. But you put something else again with animals on there, and they would show up and sit down, and both of them are sitting there watching TV, and every once in a while they start to bark.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
anyway,
it works.
I don't know. I guess it does work. It seemed to interest my animals.
I guess my dog didn't care. All right, thank you.
Just pass it on. Thank you.
Now, how about the computers? Because now, with Hulu and everything, and Netflix, you can download movies. And instead of watching it on your computer screen, which is usually smaller than the television screen, you hook the computer up to the TV somehow and can watch it on the bigger screen. Do you do that also?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the latest craze.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
some
that.
of the older laptops, I happen to have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have an adapter, let's say, to come out of your computer into your TV. But the newer ones, it's all built in. You come right out of the back of your computer into your TV, and then you can live stream. So you actually can have a little small remote control, actually, where you can change channels and everything by aiming it at your laptop screen or whatever, and then it shows on your TV channel. The state of the art's gone crazy. The things you can do today with computers. But the thing to notice is that if you were to go to a TV station in Orlando, let's say, and get it online, and if you were to watch it off the air, they're 2 different programs. They're not giving you the same information online.
Oh, really?
Yes, different information.
Oh, I didn't know that. Let's go back to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. George. I hope this ain't too foolish of a question, but I always wondered, like a radio station like WOCA, why would they be going on FM and AM? I mean, your radios all have a choice of both, but why would you be broadcasting on both?
Oh, I think Larry can answer that.
Well, FM sounds clearer. FM is a better sounding signal, but AM actually can go farther. So, so that's probably our reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. That's is that the same thing like with TV with UHF and VHF and that, or?
Yes, that both of them. One can go further than the other.
Okay. Someday maybe AM could have the same sound quality, and then there would be just like an FM type of thing, right?
There was talk about digital AM. I don't think it took off to the point where the consumer is always the one who dictates something.
Yeah.
And if people aren't, like, for example, stereo AM came out some years ago.
Right.
We hooked up this radio station to be a stereo AM music station. That's how long ago this was.
Okay.
This board is actually a stereo board that I'm working at right here. But nobody out there was buying stereo AM radios.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
As a radio station now, when you send the signal out, do you have to have two separate towers and power units, or is it just one, or how does that work?
Yep. Yeah, there are two separate ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of expense involved there then.
I guess so. We actually own one and rent one.
Okay.
That just shows the commitment to the community.
Yeah.
When you move to your new location, will you be using the same tower sites?
Same ones, yes.
Same ones. Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Boy, I was answering questions though. That's unusual.
Yeah.
Hope I had it right.
Yeah, one day I was driving to Orlando, and I called Dan at the station, and I told him, I said, I'm in Leesburg, and I'm listening to you. And I got that in Orlando. I said, I'm still, what in the world? Well, that's the inversion layer. You know how the propagation of radio, all the technical terms. But it was cloudy, and the signal was hitting the clouds and bouncing back off. And I was all the way down in Orlando listening to WOCA. But you can't do that with FM, like you said. It's almost like the digital. You go so far, and it stops.
Well, FM goes as far as the horizon. Mm-hmm. Which is why a lot of FM towers are so tall, because the taller the tower, the farther the horizon.
Yeah.
But AM will bounce around in the atmosphere and actually follow the curvature of the Earth. So.
Right. You know, the saying is, if you had a loud enough amplifier or a big enough amplifier, you could listen to WABC New York here in Ocala. It's all about amplitude. That's why it's amplitude modulation.
I used to hear WABC out of New York, because that was my teenage station.
77.
Yeah, exactly.
WOCA.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I used to hear it, listen to this, when I was on I-95 in Daytona.
Right.
For some reason, I would hear it there.
Along the ocean.
Yeah.
It skips along the ocean.
Yeah.
From New York right down here, yeah. We listen to it in West Palm Beach and Keys West. In the evening time, you pick up 77.
Of course, there's no point in listening to it now. It sounds just like us. So
it does.
It's all talk. So.
And I never really understood the satellite audio. I realize there are people who are addicted to certain types of music. And if you go to the satellite, like Sirius Radio, you can get 24 hours a day.
Right.
But do you really want to listen to 24 hours a day of the same singer or the same music? I mean, don't you really enjoy the fact that you have an upbeat song 1 minute and then maybe a melody the next minute, and it's different songs. But they turn it, and that's why, like in our cable systems, we don't carry the 50 and 60 channels of audio. We just feel that that's 60 channels that no one really listens to. Now, there are the exceptions, the person that turn on the soft background music and put it, maybe the kitchen TV and just let it play all day. Well, there are those exceptions, but why don't they just turn the radio on and do the same thing?
Yeah.
Can you choose the TV stations that you want to have in your home on your cable system? Because I know on mine, Bright House, there are TV stations that I really don't care for. And I wish I didn't have to pay for them, but they all come in different packages, and you cannot pick and choose. Are we going to be able to do that with yours?
Yes, you will, and that's the new state of the art. A couple of weeks ago, John McCain was on the TV, C-SPAN, and he was before the FCC and the Senate, and he is trying to force the programmers to unbundle. So right now, if I want to carry USA, if I want to carry USA Network because everybody likes it, I am forced to buy Disney, ABC, and 5 channels of ESPN. So that whole package cost me like $6.80. So if you only wanted USA, you see how I have to charge you $6.80 even if you don't want to watch ESPN.
Yeah.
Because that's what it costs me. Once they unbundle them, then I can buy only ESPN or buy only USA.
Which is smart.
Which is smart.
Can I ask you a real quick question? We have a phone call, and real quickly, do the cable companies have knowledge of what shows are being watched? In other words, did you really make the Nielsen system obsolete?
Okay, the cable TV box, the set-top converter, it is a smart box. They can interrogate it and find out how many people watch that channel at that time of day.
Okay.
And the box that we have will do the same thing. We can tell you what channel you're on and how long you watched it.
Oh, wow. So you know when I'm watching Playboy, then, don't you?
We
Okay. All right, we've got one more call. I don't even have cable. I'm just making that up. All right. Not that I wouldn't watch it.
Of course.
Jim George is your host. Good morning. You're on there with Jim.
Oh, good morning, everybody. I have a question. I don't know, maybe I've missed it, but would you carry local news and local weather?
Yes, on a cable channel, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Like, for instance, I have Prism at my house, which is a CenturyLink offering. And they only have Orlando channels, so I get no Gainville channels and I get no Ocala channels. and which I think is crazy because we're in Ocala. So
Absolutely.
So on our systems, we even carry WOCA radio on our station, one of our channels. And when the video gets added, we will be carrying it live video on one of our channels.
No, you see Robin even in high definition.
Exactly. And we can see the turtles laying their eggs or whatever it is.
That's right.
So the idea is, yes, you do want to carry local. That's the whole idea of a local cable TV system, is to carry local channels.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That is cool. So, Jim, can anybody in Ocala get American cable services, or are you limited to certain areas?
Right now, we're limited to certain areas, but the reason for going to the cable convention is to sign some more contracts. The way the contracts work is you name the place you're in. So if you name, like I'm inside of Ocala Palms, then I'm limited to selling my signals inside Ocala Palms. If you're Cox and you pay like $10,000, you can get a statewide franchise. If you get a statewide franchise, then your limited area is Florida. So you can sell your channels anywhere in Florida. If you go to the FCC and buy an unlimited license, like for the whole USA, that's a $50,000 contract.
Ooh.
But that allows you to sell your signals anywhere in the USA.
Oh, wow.
So one of the reasons for going to the convention is seeing what channels are available to be distributed nationwide or P-distribute, because everybody has said, I only want my channel to be shown here, or only my channel can be shown if it's in a clubhouse, or it cannot be shown in a public area like a clubhouse. So everybody has their own restrictions. But we think that by September or October, we'll be able to offer a box that will cost the consumer. The consumer can buy the box for $100, and they can put it on their internet and watch any channel they want in an a la carte. So I only want to watch one channel. Then you subscribe to that one channel.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and the $100 is a one-time fee?
One time you own it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's going to be breaking news when that happens.
Yes.
Okay. In the meantime, how do we get a hold of you? What's your phone number?
Sure. My telephone number is in Ocala, 854-9795.
All right. And call us if you need that repeated over the phone. Jim, always good to talk to you.
Same here. Thank you.
Fun topic. I love this topic, actually. All right, we'll take a little break and be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives.